So, welcome to the Theatres of Dreams. This is your Friday extra time edition, and on the Zoom with me, coming live from the BRITS stage, is Dominic Barr, who is going to be our correspondent for the BRITS this year. Dom, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks. If Olivia Dean walks past me shortly, I do apologise. She's just currently making herself a bacon egg sandwich in the kitchen.
Well done, well done. We call her Ollie, so we do Ollie D. So there you go, and also recovering from a very intense Guardians of the Vinyl Vault podcast last night. Richard Irvine, how are you?
Very well. I led the front very well last night, proposing Bruce Springsteen, and I can't tell you how it went, but I'm pretty
Oh,
happy with my recommendation.
and Stephen did Radiohead.
Yeah, you did. Yes.
There you go. So we also podcast about music. I don't know if we're any better than than we are in football. But if you want to look that up, it's Guardians of the Vinyl Vault. You'll find it on YouTube and also on all your normal
By the
podcasts.
way, we must mention that we all have been waiting for Dom. Has been late. He's postponed this episode once already today, and then he turned up late for the second. If he was a player at training, he would
We
be
find him.
fined. He would
You would.
fine him now,
We
wouldn't he?
find him. Absolutely.
And all because he was having a facial. I mean, can you believe that?
Richards, I do
Proper
feel
haircut this week.
I do feel as some people think they're the star attraction here, but
Well, I did. I always panic when I think Dom isn't going to be able to make the episode.
Right. Well, look, hot off the press. Currently, as we speak,
Yes, this is
the
exciting.
Champions League draw is taking place. So let's just go over them because the first out of the hat was City versus Real Madrid with the first tie at City. And Dom, what
Ooh.
do you think about that?
Isn't it funny that after all these years, I'm fed up with playing Real Madrid? You used to wish for it.
You
I'm
seem to be playing them an awful lot, don't
every
you?
year, every year. Uh, can I be honest? It's not the greatest Real Madrid team. I think it's a glamour tie by name, City Madrid, but I wouldn't say either of them are on full cylinders. So I've got to be honest. I wanted Bodo Glint just to get our own back because they've been magnificent. But we can talk about
Mm.
that in a bit.
Well, they
Yeah,
got
I'll take it.
the Bodo Glimt got Sporting at first tie at home, so that's a good one for them. To be fair,
Mm, mm.
Chelsea are playing their first match at Paris Saint-Germain. That's a toughie, isn't it? A real
Oh,
toughie. And then Newcastle, they got Barca. So they
Wow.
did first tie at home. Liverpool, Richard, you tied Galatasaray of Turkey first match away.
Yeah.
And
I think Liverpool will be pleased with that, to be honest. I think
well,
that,
I think you will
yeah.
be. I think you will be. A tough atmosphere at Galatasaray, but these
yeah,
players
but
should be
if you can
used
come
to it.
away, if you can come away with maybe just a point, maybe you sneak a win, but if you can contain them away and then come back to Anfield, I think Liverpool would be very happy. I think they would be quite happy to avoid Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG. If you'd offered it to Liverpool before Galatasaray, first leg away, snapped your hand off. So I'm happy with that.
So, also in the last 16 draw of the Champions League, Tottenham have drawn Atletico Madrid, first game and in Spain, and then it's Atalanta versus Bayern Munich, and then it is Bayern Leverkusen versus Arsenal. What do you think Arsenal fans
Ah,
will make of
really?
that?
Delighted. They'd be
Delighted.
delighted. Actually, this has shown as well that by finishing as high up in the group, the odds are in your favour because, funnily enough, just watching the live feed. So I'm plagiarising this from Sam from London who's just said it. But Arsenal now have got Bayer Leverkusen, and if they win that, they play the winner of Boda Glint or Sporting. So they can get to this.
Ooh,
So they can get to the semi-finals without having played any of the so-called
Yes.
top right. Whereas City, who let's be truthful, really messed up with Bayer Leverkusen at home, even more than the defeat at Bode Glint. Really the home game against. If we'd have finished higher up, we wouldn't be in this situation. And now we've got Madrid, and if we beat Madrid in the quarters, we get Bayern. Right, so we're going to do anything. We got to go the tough way, but that's our own fault for finishing
yeah.
eighth. And Arsenal, credit to them, finished top, and they're going to be in the semis. They're going to take some beating. They are.
Sam C from London, I'm giving you a thumbs up on the BBC website for that comment. But yeah, really good point on that. So Arsenal should be happy. Tottenham, what do you think, Tottenham fans?
Oh, sorry, Rodney. Can I just ask Dom a question?
Uh-huh.
Will Mark Gay and
Yeah, eligible.
were eligible, and
Yeah.
and the Bournemouth guy, yeah,
Yeah, Semenyo. Yeah,
Semenyo.
we're he's not a Bournemouth guy; he's a City guy,
Yeah,
and he's yeah, they're all in. So this phase now is the full squad, and we have got people coming back. So don't get me wrong, City in this second phase are certainly better than they were in the group stages, but we're going to have to do it the tough way. But we did that when we won it. To be fair, we had to beat these teams to win it. Bayern in the quarters, Real in the semis. You know, if you want to be at it, you've got to play. You've got to play some good teams, haven't you?
And has Mbappe got an injury?
I'm not sure
because he didn't play. He didn't play the other evening.
Well, I hope so.
And when is this? Sorry, guys. When are these first ties? How long are we going to wait? 2 weeks?
Let's see. It will be the 10th and 11th of March.
Yes, and
the week
17th
after.
to the 18th. Yeah.
Fabulous.
So the pathways to the final are now mapped out too. So one side you have PSG, Chelsea, Liverpool, Madrid, City, Bayern, as you said, Dom, and then Arsenal, Tottenham, Newcastle, Barca, and Atletico. So Arsenal fans, the happiest of the lot. Let us know, Arsenal fans, what you think of that. All right, let's just go into the results during the week this week, because obviously we know now that the knockout phases were played. Anybody see any of the games during the last couple of days?
Bits. I mean, Atalanta had a very exciting one, didn't they? And if you remember, we mentioned it briefly last week about watch out for Bodo Glimt because they got a brilliant result in the first leg at home to Inter Milan. But to go away to Inter Milan and win again, I mean, that is... I mean, that story of a team that have never won a Champions League game and have now their four results, beat City, won away at Atletico Madrid and beat Inter twice. That is like Paris Saint-Germain last year when they won it. I mean, it's incredible. And do you know that they haven't even got a season at the moment? Do you know that they're only playing friendlies?
Exactly that. And they did
it is a remarkable story.
It's amazing.
They did it last night with 30% of possession. They had 7 shots, of which 5 were on target. They faced 30 shots from Milan, of which 7 were on target. So, I mean, they were up against it. But their XG was 1.74 versus 2.515. So, you know, they dug in, didn't they? You know, and
it's amazing. It's amazing. And they can genuinely, I mean, let's all get behind them. I might get a shirt because who've they got? Sporting. Don't get me wrong. I'm not being disrespectful to Sporting. But if they could play anybody, right, then why not? Their artificial pitch in the middle of Norway is tough away fixture. And if Sporting come off the rails in that first leg, Bodo Glimt have a chance. That'd be such a story, wouldn't it?
That really would be an absolute story. What other stories got you in the press this week, guys? Any?
Well, we were talking off air about United getting that another good result. You got your win against Everton, am I right?
Yeah, that was a really good result for us actually, and a really important goal from the big lad Šeško as well. Šeško, I should say. Super sub. I think he'll start on was it Monday night? I think he'll start him actually. But to be honest, I said this on the Wednesday podcast. For me, the whole thing throws questions around what actually went wrong in with Ruben Amorim's time, because it's the same set of players. Yes, the coaching staff has changed dramatically. I would love to be a fly on the wall to see what Carrick and the guys are doing. But something's different. You know, something is...
He hasn't lost a game, has he, Michael Carrick?
He hasn't lost a game. I think he's had 5 wins and 2 draws or something.
I've not watched a full 90 minutes, if I'm truthful, of United to see if there's any pattern of play change. I couldn't, if you want to get really analytical and forensic about it, I couldn't honestly say, like you say, other than a feel-good factor. and a fresh manager and somebody who's been in that changing room as a player and won great things. And I imagine Carrick being quite a calm influence, knows the English game inside and out. I mean, I'm not saying he can win you a title, but he comes with a very, very good credentials and experience, doesn't he? He really does. So you've got to take your hat off. And I think also the timing of some of the new lads maybe settling in has done Carrick a favour. Suddenly Kuna seems to be getting involved more than he was at the beginning. Maybe again that's the style. And Seshko has scored some really, really good finishes and some good important goals.
So this is something we spoke about on Wednesday's podcast. I'm interested in your view. I don't know if you saw the pressure that Lamans was under on corners during the Everton game. I mean, it was almost GBH, to be fair, and he was behind his line, and there were almost a row of Everton players. I would say obstructing him, basically, but doing it in a very careful manner. And it was like a rugby scrum in there. And to be fair, the great thing about it was he survived every one. He managed to get over the top of them, hit the ball out some way. But it felt to me like that's not football. That was a really negative tactic. Have you seen
that's one thing I don't like about the recent football is the pushing and shoving and jostling in. It's got worse, I think, in penalty boxes.
It has.
I hate it. You know what I mean? The art of the corner seems to be about who can get away with sneaky little fouls, really, and grabbing. And I mean, they started to come down hard on it at one point, but then it seems to have gone. They've relaxed it a little bit more. I remember one World Cup where they were saying a couple of World Cups ago where they said any pushing, shoving, grabbing a shirt in the lining up for a corner would be punished severely, even a penalty if it was from the opposition. But that doesn't seem to be happening much anymore.
I think it's almost as the genius is the simplicity, though. Tactically, if you're the coaches, and obviously Arsenal renowned for doing it first, and it is now in the game. If we've spent all these last comfortably a decade or more with everybody being taught to play out from the back and these sorts of things, and centre backs being trained as young kids on how to have great distribution and brilliant positional sense and closing the gaps and not leaving any room to make it very, very difficult to stop people getting through. Actually, the simplicity is the genius, because those kids were not trained as they would have been 30 years ago to clear their lines and to head the ball away. There's an enormous amount of centre-backs who are just very, very poor defenders aerially. Yeah. Very poor. If the ball in is good and goalies are taught to kick the ball, throw the ball, create distribution, what about actually catching the ball? Yeah. And actually, I think that's partly what's happened is someone's just gone, you know what? Let's just put it in there, because these guys are not, Steve Bruce. They're not Gary Pallister. They're not, you know what I mean? They're just ballers. And actually, the nemesis to that is a direct threat, long throws and corners. But there is too much pulling and tugging. But I don't know how you manage that unless you change the rules fundamentally, which isn't going to happen.
No, it isn't going to happen. But it is interesting, as you say, that your modern day centre backs were more ball playing centre backs, if you like, and now this is playing into your Steve Bruce type, Gary Pallister type players who physically can manage the situation without creating a foul, really. So that result meant that United are. It means that Everton actually have played 7 home games without a win in all competitions. Which is not a good form, although they sit 9th. And in 6
you have to say Arsenal as well did well. They didn't buckle under the pressure. They got that win, which then has put it back into City's court, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know that Tottenham. People will say, "Oh, Tottenham didn't turn up." Let's be truthful. Tottenham are in a real mess. We can talk about the relegation mess. They are. I mean, I've never seen them ever in my life genuinely in a relegation. They've skirted around in the past, and like last season, they finished 17th, but they were never really in danger of going down. Let's be truthful. Whereas this season, West Ham get a result somewhere soon.
Hopefully not Anfield.
Well, they're definitely in a fight. But I actually thought Arsenal, they were at it, weren't they? They've been really poor the last few weeks, frozen with fear. The Wolves game, and they pressed from the front against Tottenham, killed them. It killed them. They just couldn't keep the ball.
You got to say you would be. I mean, although there is 4 points between 18th place and Tottenham and 16th, Tottenham have not won a game in the last 6. You've got a manager there who you don't really know that much about, and you're sort of thinking, how are we going to fight our way out of this? Because they're in a dogfight right now, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah, I think they're right in it.
Well, if West Ham were to beat Liverpool, West Ham are on the verge of getting out of that horrible area, and that would put Liverpool out of the running, I think, for top 4 or make it extremely difficult. So Liverpool have to win, West Ham have to win. It sets it up for either a very tight game or a exciting game.
Well, West Ham are the only team in the bottom 3 who've got a chance of getting out because they're on 25 points. Forest on 27, and then Tottenham on 29, and then Leeds on 31. So you're looking at those 4 almost being in the fight at the moment.
Having watched the Forest Liverpool game at the weekend as well, most people watching that and the commentators were saying that Forest have got enough to survive there because they look quite good. They were very unlucky against Liverpool, really. In the end, Liverpool got a bit of luck with a few decisions, but if they can play like that, most commentators were saying that they will survive. It's going to be it all could go to the last game with West Ham and Forest, couldn't it? That's where it's looking.
Yeah, I think it's West Ham. I think it's about West Ham. I think Leeds, Tottenham, and Forest will tread water, get a similar ratio of points to what they've got now. They're all on 27 from 27, 29 from 27, 31. If they keep doing that, the only way it's going to get really interesting is if West Ham up it a little bit with it. And if you in this division can get a 3-pointer, there's only 4 points away from Spurs. One win might not be Liverpool, like you say, you're going to be hungry for it. But if they get a win in the next 2 or 3, and are playing better, there was a point where I called that one wrong too, that they were going to finish rock bottom, not realising Wolves were going to be quite as bad. And now West Ham look like they've still got enough fight in there. It's who's going to score goals. Really.
Isn't it mad that you've got Tottenham who are in the draw for the last 16 in the Champions League, and at the same time you're in a dogfight really to stay in the Premier League? Really,
it's not going to help Tottenham for the league, is it?
No, not at all.
Too many games. Well, I mean, if they got Atletico Madrid or something, and they're not going. They've only got so they've only got a couple of. Let's be truthful. They've only got a couple of games, and then they're out of that. So, sorry, Tottenham fans.
So, you're saying they've got no chance against Atletico?
Nah.
Well, I mean, interesting. Spurs' next game is to see they play Fulham on Sunday, so there's a derby. Fulham away on Sunday, and then
away or home?
Away, Fulham away on Sunday at 2:00. Then they play Palace at home on the Thursday night, another derby. And then they play Atletico away. And then they play Liverpool. And then they have Atletico again. And then they play Forest. So you look at that and you think it's not until Sunderland, probably, on the 11th of March, that they have not an easy game, but a game that's a little bit more straightforward.
Certainly not easy, no.
It's a tough league. You could go through. I mean, really, even Wolves get that draw against Arsenal. That just epitomises everything about this league.
Oh, totally.
You just can't legislate for anything. And probably maybe that's why the depth of Europe is so good. Is it six teams in this latter stages of the Champions League? I mean, that's dominant. Yeah. Absolutely dominant. Anyway, we'll see.
Anyway, in other news, I don't know if you've seen it, but United have agreed the amount of money they're going to pay Ruben Amorim, which is apparently nearly 16 million is the provision. And I thought I would.
No, it's not that much.
Apparently, the provision of up to 16 million has been put into the books, and yeah, that's what it says here.
I thought it was around 7 million, which was still ridiculous.
So it's apparently sorry, that's the club's filing. So it's a 7 million write off apparently. So it's a provision up to 16 million. The club filing states representing the maximum potential future settlement payment, because there's some clauses I think with it. So I thought I would look at the amount of money United have spent in sacking managers since Moyes' time, and the total over that time, including Moyes up to Amrin, is 67 million quid. No, I thought it would be closer to 100 million, but still, 67 million quid. Moyes got 5.2, Louis van Gaal got 8.4, Mourinho got nearly 20.
Oh my God.
And then 7.5 for Solskjaer, Ten Hag 10.4, and then the provision for Ruben Amorim is nearly 16 million. You sort of think, bloody hell, that's a lot of money, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could talk about what brings success ultimately is consistency and patience. It is, isn't it? If you look at City, obviously, with Pep, been there forever. Granted, he had a much better start than everybody else, but he's done his thing. Arsenal with Arteta is the best shout of all. They've been patient. They could have got rid of him randomly and panicked. They haven't. And Chelsea have, with all that money they spend, just look like they're never going to win a league doing it the way they do it. So if people keep changing the managers every 5 minutes and paying them off at such big money, you can't really get there, can you? At some point, and this is what we always say about United, isn't it? They're looking a lot better now, and the feel-good factor's there, and everyone's thinking, actually, is this the turn? But only if you decide who your manager is. Who?
It's a huge decision, because you think if Carrick secures top four, and then you bring somebody else in.
That I tell you what, if Carrick does top four, how can you not retain him? How can you not retain him?
Yeah, I think they'll, if he carries on the way he is, like he hasn't lost a game yet, and he's doing exceptionally well. I hate to say it, but and he's proving a lot of his old friends, his teammates wrong, like people like your Keanes. Yeah. I think they'd be silly to move on to someone completely new. Once he's already to have this half a season, is he going to get into half a season? You've really got you're back. You know your players, they know you. It puts you on the front foot for the next season, doesn't it, Dom? Really, rather than having to wait for a manager to settle in again, you'd be crazy not to, really.
And with the World Cup, it's hard to get managers secured, because you've got a pool there that you can't secure, and then they come straight from the World Cup into a season. I don't know. I have to say, I said on the Wednesday's podcast, he did an interview recently with Mark Radcliffe for the BBC, and it was top banana. It was actually quite nice to have somebody who could take the questions, field the questions, handle the questions, and talk just, honestly about how he felt about the job. And as a fan of United and just a football fan, I thought, you know what, I enjoyed the interview. I enjoyed his honesty, and I enjoyed the fact he's loving it. And why wouldn't you love it? You know what I mean? You should love it. So
I don't see why can't Carrick be a great manager? Just because he's not Alonso, or you know what I mean? Like, what? Just because he's not Ancelotti? At some point, those managers were the equivalent of Carrick, and why not? When he's won all those games, like Rich says, it would be foolish. And it's not like when Solskjaer was there, because I felt that when Solskjaer did it, he brought it back. And you remember, he had his temporary role and he did brilliant, and then they gave him the job. The difference here for me is when Solskjaer was doing that, all he kept going on about was Sir Alex. The gaffer.
Yeah.
And it was not actually about Solskjaer. Never even thought about himself. It was like, we want to bring it back to what the gaffer used to do. Whereas I don't think Carrick does that. It's obviously another 5 years on or whatever. But Carrick also is Carrick, and he did brilliant at Middlesbrough. And sometimes the lights all fall for you, and an opportunity arises, and you take it. Di Matteo did it at Chelsea many years ago. Do you remember when he got a role as an ex-player for a bit and went and won the Champions League? I mean, they went and sacked him not long after. But I think
he might make it. He seems a reasonable guy. He might make it easy for United to say, "Give me the job, just give me a 2-year contract," and so there's not that jeopardy if it doesn't go well. He might just say, "Give 2 or 3-year contract, please." At a reasonable salary. Not asking for the world, and then there's less jeopardy for United, isn't there?
Well, I was just thinking, and Dom, would be interested in your view. I don't think there's many differences between Vinny Company going from Burnley to Bayern, and Carrick going from Middlesbrough to Manchester. It's actually interesting. Burnley to Bayern, Middlesbrough, Manchester. But you sort of think, is there really any difference between those?
I don't think so. I don't think so. No. I actually feel like I'm working on behalf of Carrick now, but I would definitely look. Let's see what the results carry on like.
Exactly.
But if he finishes you top 4, he should be told, "You get us top 4, you can keep the job, and let's back you for a season." And I said this off air at the beginning. At some point, this comical cycle of United, the biggest club in the country, right? Sorry, Rich, but this is the biggest club in the country and beyond. At some point, they've got to turn a corner and become a threat. Maybe not immediately for the title, but certainly be sniffing around and making it a lot harder, and Old Trafford being tougher to go to again, and all the things from the past. Football is cyclical. At some point, it has to change. And I actually believe right now, and I'm doing this slightly to wind Ritual, I have a feeling that United will win a title before Liverpool win their next.
Oh,
I really do. I'm not, because I do think at the moment it's an Arsenal and City thing. Liverpool are in this. So what they're going to do with Slot? Is he in? Is he out? Are we going to back it? Don't get me wrong. Some of the players they bought are very good and they're gelling and they're settling better, but they're still not playing very well. Them and Chelsea are just way off it, and it's allowed United, by just being a bit better, to get a 5-point lead or whatever it was. I mean, it's for me, if United just double down and go again, they've got some great players. And why can't Sesko suddenly in a year's time be a superstar? But we've been taking the mickey out of what's he called, our fullback, Nunes, right? As a failed midfielder we bought for Wolves as a disaster. Right, if you ask most City fans now, he's the greatest right back we've ever had. So football is really weird how people can reinvent themselves. And I just look and I think United, the way it's just falling with Chelsea and Liverpool not being at it, is opening the door to the Champions League. If they get Champions League, they can attract the players. They've got the money, they've got the status, they need the European Champions League. Get a good summer on top of a good summer they had last season. They bought some good players last year. Then there is a possibility that United could be bouncing back here properly.
Yeah, well, I think as a United fan, Dom, I think we're probably a little bit hesitant on it because we fell into the trap of going with Ollie and getting caught up in the romance and the emotion of Ollie. But I actually think Carrick is a slightly different character. Really.
But it's a results business, isn't it? And if he keeps on winning and not losing, it's a results business.
I agree, and I think at the moment United fans are trying not to get too carried away. But I think if you were to sit down with most of them, they would turn around and say, "You've got a good coaching group there. We like the people that have come in, and they make sense. And I like the fact that not many of them have been linked with the club before, so they don't have all that emotion and all of that type of stuff. And you look at it, you say he's using the same squad and getting a different result. So that has to be.
However, it's got to be helping that you're not involved in other competitions.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Because you're going to be fresh, aren't you? You're going to be fresh. No Champions League, no European Europa Cup, no domestic cups. So It's got to be helping.
Thanks, Richard. Just depressed me, but you're right. You're right. Look, talking about managers, there were reports in the press this week that Klopp could be soon leaving his role as the head of global soccer at Red Bull, which apparently the Red Bull CEOs come out and said utter nonsense. I just wonder whether this is because there are so many manager jobs coming up potentially that he's got to be linked with somebody.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it'll always be paper talk. Um, I mean, nonsense is what Red Bull said, so you got to take that. But it's a shame for football that he doesn't want to manage.
I agree.
That's all. I mean, Pep disappeared off to New York, didn't he? After he finished at Barcelona, and you know, had his moment, and then returned to Bayern and all that sort of stuff, and then reinvented himself again. I don't. How old is Klopp? Rich, how old is he now? Is he late 50s?
I think so. Yes.
I mean,
I think
he's got another big job in him, at least one. I would have thought, your Madrids. I don't think he'd come back to England because of his Liverpool status, but
Maybe the national team.
national, yeah. But I do think he's more of a coach like Pep. I think he's more of that culture and heartbeat of a club. That's
Well, it won't be a British team. It won't be an English team.
He'd be great at Barcelona.
Oh, I think a Spanish club actually.
Yeah, but Barcelona are doing all right. They're doing quite well.
I see him for some reason. I see him at Madrid. I don't know why it is, but I see him at Madrid.
He can handle it because he handled Liverpool and their expectancy and gelled it together as a huge benefit rather than a hindrance, didn't he? So,
Well, I tell you what, it's just made me think they've tripped up a little bit in La Liga. So Barcelona they're looking like in the best position for the league, I think. And also, if City put Real Madrid out, that job at Real Madrid will be there for the taking. So if City put Real Madrid, is it the quarterfinals, Dom? Are we in the quarters now, or we're in the one before
one below?
Well, let's just face it. If Real Madrid go out of that stage, that's it. Who's the manager at Real Madrid at the moment? It's Arbeloa, isn't it? Arbeloa. He'll. Well,
I'm not fearful of the Madrid game. I'm a bit disappointed because I'm genuinely a bit fed up of playing him. We had him in the group stages, and we won at their place. Right, they're worse. They're worse now than they were then.
They won't be happy about drawing City.
They won't be. They won't be at all because we are finding more form again now. People are back from injury. Gay is in the back four, and Semenyo is an extra threat, and Mamouche is back in town, and
Keeper's playing well.
Yeah. So don't get me wrong. I still think there's better teams than ours this season. We said it all along. We're still in transition, and we're 6 months away from me saying, right, come on, let's go for it. Anything we do this season is a bonus. But I'm not fearful of them. I'm not that fearful of Barcelona, to be truthful, because I think Newcastle will give them a tough time at St James's Park. I don't see them progressing. I'm probably going to get. If you look at the draw, we've got one side of the draw now where Arsenal, my goodness me, without promoting gambling, stick your mortgage on Arsenal getting to the final. Goodness gracious, the odds on that are going to be slashed because they've got nobody on their side of the draw. Our side has got City, Madrid, Bayern, Barca, Liverpool, PSG, all on our side. PSG all on our side of the draw. Arsenal have got Tesco Rovers.
Yeah, so just to confirm, in the next round is the quarters. So in your one side you've got Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea, and then you've got Galatasaray, Liverpool. So the winners of Paris or PSG versus Chelsea could play either Galatasaray or Liverpool. Then the winners of Madrid versus City would play Atalanta versus Bayern Munich. Then Newcastle versus Barca would play Atletico versus Tottenham, and then Bodo Glimt versus Sporting would play either Bayern Leverkusen or Arsenal.
Yeah, very interesting.
Can I just give so there you go. So the likely semis once at quarters, some great games here is PSG Liverpool, Bayern City, Barca Atletico, and Bayer Leverkusen Arsenal. Come on, Arsenal fans are loving this.
Oh, no, sorry. The quarterfinals, it would be possibly Bodo Glimt or Sporting versus, let's say, Arsenal.
Wow.
That's incredible.
They're going to get to the final. They're going to get to the final. They have every chance being so defensively
Who?
good. Arsenal have got. I
Arsenal?
tell you, they're top of the table. We're catching them, and the mind games are there. But they are. Arsenal could be in for an incredible season here.
You can imagine
Yes.
a double there. Hmm.
I think they'll win at least a couple of trophies. I don't know what they'll be.
I
In what
remember
order.
when they got to the final and it was in Paris and they lost. Was it against Barca?
Yeah, against Madrid. Wasn't
Against Madrid, was it?
Was it?
I don't know, it was either Barca or Madrid, but I remember. Yeah.
Right. Well, let's this just before we get to the weekend's fixtures, let's just talk a little bit about the World Cup this year and who's likely to be on the plane for England. So I've done a little bit of digging here. So keepers, they typically take 3 keepers in the squad. So I'm assuming it's Pickford, Ramsdale, and Trafford are the 3 keepers.
I mean, Pope got a shout in there.
Oh, of course, of course. So
But then I think Pope's going to get Pope's playing, isn't he? So Trafford isn't.
Okay. So
Yeah,
Pickford number 1. Of course, this is all subject to injuries. Defenders, the assumption is they'll take 8. So the list I've got in front of me is that it'll be Gehi, Tomori. Who's Tomori? Fikayo Tomori.
the Milan lad.
Must be. John Stones. Where's Stones playing at the moment?
Bloody emergency ward 10. He's
City.
yeah, he's at City. But yeah, look, let's see. John's injuries is the risk, not his ability. Will he even be fit? But you've got to put him in if he's fit. His know-how and his knowledge. Who else have we got?
Chilwell.
God, really? No chance. Not even getting a game, is he? No.
Luke Shaw.
Yeah, you'd probably have him in the squad at the moment, maybe.
Trent.
Yeah, of course.
He's not nailed on though, is he? He's beginning to play at Real Madrid again, but
You got to take Trent. He's too important from his forward play competition. You know, when you've got dead balls, and I just think you've got to take him.
Trippier
Cool, we're struggling here, aren't we?
and Kyle Walker.
Right.
a bit too old now, I think.
Okay, so you've got to throw in there for me the Newcastle left back Lewis Hall. He deserves a mention.
Good shout.
You've got to Livramento.
Ah.
But he's been injured, hasn't he? That's the problem with Livramento. Otherwise, I think he'd be nailed on right back.
Wait a minute, we haven't mentioned Maguire yet, have we?
No, I haven't mentioned Maguire, but has Maguire been in a squad playing recently?
He's a big favourite for England.
You're missing City's Nico O'Reilly, who
Of course.
is he a midfielder or a fullback? I think in England he's a fullback.
And the big tall lad for Newcastle.
Dan Burn.
Dan Burn.
Yes, of course, of course.
And what about we're missing a few here. Colwill, Chelsea.
Yes, yes.
To be honest, I'd have him. You're looking at Gay as a definite shoe-in.
Yeah.
Trent, Nico O'Reilly. You can't not take. That's not me being a City.
No.
Tinted. He's just been sensational this season. Colwill definitely.
So basically, the upshot of that is he's got options there, defenders that might cover injuries, and then other tactical. Moving on to midfielders, Declan Rice,
terrible player.
Bellingham, Foden, Mason Mount. Could be a type.
No, don't be daft.
I don't
now
see
you're getting
that.
carried away.
No, I don't see that. James Madison, I reckon.
No, he hasn't played for ages. He's injured, Rodney.
The fickleness of football, like.
Saka, obviously.
Yeah.
Then what about Henderson or Phillips?
No, he won't take Phillips, but he may take Henderson.
No. He's got the lad from Forest now. What's he called? Help me.
Gibbs White?
No. Well, there's him as well. Anderson.
And then Bowen and Cole Palmer.
Yeah, Palmer's got to be in there.
Yeah. So again, options, lots of options. And then forwards, Kane.
Nailed on.
Watkins,
Yeah,
would he take Rashford? Probably.
should do.
Um,
Dominic Calvin-Lewis scoring goals.
Callum Wilson,
No.
is it Newcastle?
Yeah, but Dominic Calvin-Lewis is scoring goals.
Right.
Was that Wilson isn't really.
Grealish.
No, he's injured anyway.
Injured, yeah.
Ah, yes, it says if it. Saka.
You've already got him in the middle, but yeah, it depends what you class him as.
Yeah. Anybody else there, guys?
I'm having a bit of a brain freeze here.
Wouldn't be Ivan Toney, would
Oh,
it?
hang on, where's Rogers? We've got Morgan Rogers,
Morgan Rogers.
who's probably a starter, let alone a squad player.
Mm.
We're only going to play with one up front, aren't we? Let's be truthful. We're just it's the Harry Kane show, and people like Watkins coming on to support. We haven't got a lot of number nines, English players like Dominic Calvert-Lewin's.
And I guess that's where Grealish and Saka are really advanced midfielders as opposed to real forwards, aren't they?
Yeah, we've got a load of number 10s, and we've got wingers who are, I say wingers, they're all cut inside on the opposite foot wingers, aren't they? It's the way they all play now. We don't have like somebody rinsing down the outside as a proper winger, old school. It's all number 10s that play on the right or left and check in. So it's a combination of which, I suppose it's going to come down to which ones are you picking between Foden, Morgan Rogers, Palmer, Saka. It's what's the blend.
But do you know what? I think what that tells me is it's quite a nice problem to have at the moment.
Mm.
Really is quite a nice.
I think Thomas Tuchel will have an idea already.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that even Bellingham is a starter in that in his plan, because he seems to not guarantee Bellingham a start. So I think Tuchel will have a plan in his head based on injury-free players who he would like to start with. I mean, let's face it, he's been in the job long enough now. He must know his best team. It's just who's fit near the time, isn't it?
I'm not sure a little number 10, like, even Phil Foden, as much as he must be on the plane, he has definitely not played well enough to get in that first 11. Nowhere near. Saka.
So especially since
Saka's
he's moved to Everton.
Foden.
Yeah.
No,
no Foden. Sorry. I thought you were talking about what's his name? Sorry. Just left. Grealish, sorry.
No. Phil Foden doesn't deserve to start. Saka, I mean, Saka's not. He's in a great team, but if you look at his stats, he's not pulling up. He's not pulling up any trees.
But he will be playing. Saka will definitely be going.
I think he will be. Right, let's turn to the weekend before we finish. In the Premier League tonight, it's Wolves versus Villa.
Ooh.
That could be an interesting game. That something tells me that's a draw. But that's pretty much it in England. And then tomorrow in the Premier League, there are 5 games. There's the 12:30 is Bournemouth versus Sunderland. Then you've got Burnley, Brentford, Liverpool, West Ham United. Interesting. Newcastle versus Everton, and Leeds United versus City is the tea time game. Dom, how are you feeling about that one?
Tough, isn't it? I mean, it's this league. Leeds away, they'll be at it. Great atmosphere in the old Ellen Road. Let's just. We'll see tomorrow, won't we? We're probably saying it every week now. Arsenal, we threw down the gauntlet on the Saturday, beating Newcastle. Then they throw the gauntlet back down to us, beating Spurs. Over to us. If we want to win this, we've got to go there and win. Yeah. Simple as that. And these are all acid tests. I still believe. I'm always hesitant because I still believe we're in this transition. So I still think we've got daft results in us. And so I don't. That's what I mean. I just don't know. I think we've got to win. And then the evening game is Arsenal Chelsea. Is that right? Afterwards. Or is that on the Sunday?
The evening game is Leeds United. Oh, sorry. No, there isn't a game.
There isn't an 8 o'clock. No, right.
There isn't.
So
what about
we've got to win.
Game,
got to
Richard?
win.
Liverpool, West Ham. Surely that's a 3-pointer, easy enough. Job done.
I'd like to think so, but they were awful against Notts Forest in the first half away. Awful. And it had to improve second half, and it did slightly improve.
Interestingly, in the form guide, you've been win, 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 loss, win. They were draw, win, loss. So if they had turned those draws into something, it would have made a big difference to them. Anyway,
I
let's
think
turn
an early goal at Liverpool. If Liverpool get the noses in front, we'll be all right.
Let's turn to Sunday, and there's three 2 o'clock. So Brighton Hove Albion versus Forest is first one. Fulham versus Tottenham. See, that's an interesting game for Tottenham, isn't it?
Tottenham v who? Sorry.
Fulham. I had Fulham.
Yeah,
Fulham. Good side. Fulham. Good side.
Yeah.
They've actually lost. They've actually lost 4 of the last 6. But I think overall, going away to Craven Cottage is tricky. We'll see.
So if you take the form guide, Tottenham have lost the last 3, then drawn, and then won. The last time they won was against Eintracht Frankfurt in the Champions League. Fulham have won the last 2, then lost the 3 previous, but those were losses to City at home, Everton at home, and United at home. I think they were all home losses. Sorry, no, it wasn't actually. It was City at away, Everton at home, and United away. And there were close games apart from the City one. So that's one to keep our eye on, actually, I have to say. I will be at Old Trafford at 2 o'clock to watch us play Crystal Palace. You know what? Crystal Palace, is that still Glasner's team, or is he gone? I can't remember.
He's still there, yeah. Still there.
Yeah, and he got a good result in Europe. They're playing well again. So, yeah.
I'll tell you what, guys, you just got one just to mention there at the top. We keep talking about this fight for 4th, don't we, between United, Liverpool, and Chelsea. Villa getting sucked in a little bit here. Right, they've gone from being around. They've just stalled. So the last 6, they've won 2, drawn 2, lost 2. Now they've got to fix that. Now if they don't get a result at Wolves tonight,
and wouldn't Wolves love to?
Oh, wouldn't they love it? Wouldn't they love it? And they're stubborn. They're harder. He's actually doing okay. The manager there. He did all right at Luton. When he's not going to do anything and stay up, but they're better than they were. But if Liverpool win tomorrow, which you'd expect United to win. They are literally. If United win, they're breathing right down Villa's neck. I think Villa have got to be careful that having had such a brilliant season, that it doesn't tail off too much and they get swallowed up by United, Chelsea and Liverpool and end up finishing 6th. Because that is on the cards at the moment if they're not careful.
And talking about Chelsea, they play at Arsenal at the 4:30 game on Sunday. I mean, that's a game that it'll be really interesting because Chelsea do need a win there to try to secure top 4, if you like, but they don't want to be sliding down the table. And then
I think that'll be a harder game though than the Tottenham game. So Chelsea will be up for that, I think. But yeah, I don't know how that's going to go. Yeah.
That's a real classic.
Can I be honest? A lot depends on the City Leeds game. Psychologically, a lot depends. If we win, then that makes the pressure cooker of that game a little bit tastier. I mean, it is at Arsenal.
If you lose, Arsenal would take the point.
Well, if we lose, I think they'll just have the momentum to go and just blow Chelsea away. It's like that now. If it's one of them weekends, if we mess up at Leeds and a draw, and then an Arsenal go and finish off Liverpool, we're back to the problem of an 8-point situation again. And I don't think that. I've said it for a while. We're hanging on by the coattails thanks to Arsenal slipping up. I just think we're just hoping for a bit more luck to hang on in there. I do feel like we're a team that look like we're a second place team still, but that can change if Arsenal keep beating themselves psychologically. Let's see.
You'll be hoping blue is the colour down in London on Sunday afternoon. And I should mention in the Scottish Premiership on Sunday at lunchtime, there's just a small matter of the Old Firm game, Rangers versus Celtic. I think I've asked you this before, but have you ever been to one of those games?
I'd love to.
Madness. Absolute madness. I'm going to be.
Well, Hearts will be hoping for a draw there, won't they?
Won't they just?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I'm meeting up with an old mate of mine in London on Tuesday. He's a big Rangers fan. I think he might be over for that game from New York.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that's a
I
huge
tell you what,
game.
though, but just on that, if Rangers are sitting second, where's it at? Is it at Celtic or Rangers?
It's at Ibrox. It's our Rangers.
Yeah, so if that ends up being a draw or a Celtic win, Hearts go and beat Aberdeen at home. There's a gap. There's a gap.
Away.
Mm.
They're pulling away. They're currently 4 points ahead of Rangers in second place. Hearts with 60 points. Rangers with 56. Celtic with 54. And then Motherwell down in 50 and in fourth place. So, yeah, you know, it's a, and actually, you know what? In some ways, that league needs somebody other than Rangers.
Doesn't it?
Like, you know?
Doesn't it?
So,
It does. It does. It does.
anyway, right. Well, that's your football.
Thank you, guys.
We will be back next week. Dom, you keep us up to date with the Brits action, okay?
I will.
And, you know, if you do see Olivia Dean, tell her hi from Richard and I. Okay?
I will.
No,
Olivia,
number one.
Olivia, Olivia, I'll be with you in a minute.
Number one with Sam Fender, by the way.
I think she's going to do very well at the Brits. But anyway, I'm hoping our teams do well at the weekend. That has been the Theatre of Dreams Extra Time. You've been listening to Dom Bars, to Richard Irvine, and Rod Maxwell. We'll be back again next week. Cheers, guys.
See you guys.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.